Would you like to be able to sit down with a prospective associate, take them through great interview questions, and know for sure that you've made the right hire? Well, in this video, I'm going to tell you how you can do that. So here's the setup. Picking the right associate isn't easy. I talked to one young man one time who told me that when he interviewed prospective associates, that he felt like he was a dancing monkey. Now, I thought I knew what he meant, but I asked him to clarify it for me. And he says, well, pretty soon after I'm bumbling through some of my questions, I start to try to impress them. And one guy I was interviewing, he just kind of crossed his arms on his shoulders and leaned back and had a smile on his face. He was in control. I was in no control at all the whole process. I just absolutely hate it. Well, in order to be able to do a great interview, you need to have great questions and you need to be prepared. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next segment. I speak to new doctors every single week who are trying to hire associates for busy practices. They want to get the help, they want to get the freedom, and they want to get the extra income that they deserve from having a great associate. But how do you know if you've hired the right person if you don't know what the right questions are? I have had so many people tell me that they're really not sure. They talk, they see if they like them, but there is a sequence of questions that you need to take somebody through. And I'm going to share 3 of those questions with you today and tell you why they are so important. And I'll do that in the next segment. So, question number 1. After you get the small talk and the pleasantries, where'd you go to school? Why'd you decide to become a chiropractor? Why are you thinking about my area? At some point in time, you need to say, what do you want to be doing in 5 years? Now, the reason you ask that question is because that's going to tell you about the goals of the prospective associate. If your prospective associate wants to be in a pediatric practice, and you've got a work comp practice, that's not a good match. If your associate wants to be doing sports medicine and you're a NUCA practitioner, that's not a good match. So what type of practice do you want to have? What do you want to be doing in 5 years? That tells you what their goals are. If the goals are compatible, I've had people tell me, I want to be doing exactly what you do, Dr. Lloyd. I want to be hiring a bunch of associates and having a lot of clinics, and I want to do what you do. Well, you know what? I know how to teach them how to do what I do. So I want to know what their 5-year goal is. If they can't come up with one, that's not a good sign. That's a sign that somebody hasn't been thinking about their future, and they're just wired differently than I am. And so I'm probably not going to be interested in that person. So the goals need to be compatible. I need to know that I can take somebody in the direction that they want to go in order for them to be satisfied in the relationship. And they're going to want to go in the same direction that I'm going in order for me to be satisfied. That's why I call it a win-win. Well, after that question, I ask, what do you think it would take in terms of time in order to build the practice that you want? Now, I ask that question to see if they are realistically calculating the effort that goes into building a great practice. So I had one young man say, well, I think my 200 plus patient visits a week should take me about 90 days. And I said, oh, what I was thinking was good luck. Now, eventually, he and I decided that we weren't going to work together. And one of the red flags was a total misunderstanding of what it takes to take a practice up to 200 plus patient visits a week. Now, I've done that. I've actually done that. I've taken one doctor up to 200 plus patient visits a week, and I did that in less than 90 days. But that's so unusual. So I'm going to ask him, how long do you think it takes? Well, I think it'll take about 2 or 3 years to do what I want to do in order to build what I want to have. That's a good answer, and that's probably pretty realistic. Here's the third question. I'm going to ask somebody, how many hours a week do they believe it's going to take in order to build the practice that they want to have, that 200 plus patient visit a week? Now, if they say, and I've heard this, I'd say 20, 25 hours a week, that's unrealistic. If you're taking care of or building a brand new practice, it's going to take all the time you have. I've had some people answer it, well, I think 40 hours a week in the clinic and another 20 for marketing, and I'm probably going to do some weekend screenings and maybe 40, 50, 60 hours, Dr. Lloyd. That's the right answer. The best answer is whatever it takes. That's what I'll give it. That indicates to me that I've got somebody that I'm probably going to get along with in terms of their work ethic. So what do you want to build? How many months or weeks or years do you think it'll take you to build it? That gives me a sense of what I call their reality. And then number 3, how many hours a week do you think it'll take? That tells me about their work ethic and how they value what we want to build. So if you want to have a great associate, you need to be compatible. You need to know that their goals are equal to your goals. You need to know that they won't get disappointed along the way if it takes more than 90 days to build a 200 plus patient visit a week practice. And you also need to know that somebody has a work ethic that will actually get the job accomplished. This is Dr. Noel Lloyd for better interviews done by clinic directors for hiring great chiropractors and developing them inside the win-win model. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.